Welcome back to Action Movies for Dummies. Today we are going over American Ultra 2015. I am your host, MJ, and that is Shakes.
Hello there.
Before we get into the movie, Shakes has some announcements.
Hey, everybody. Just wanted to let you know we have broadened our imprint on the world. You can now check us out on YouTube, iHeart, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, Spotify, and we got a page on Facebook.
Hell yes. And for a little fan interaction, on Wednesdays, we will be dropping our dummy question of the week. We'll take the top comments, the funniest comments, the best comments we come across, and we will read them on the show.
Yay!
Hell yeah. So, how was your week, brother? How you doing?
Feel pretty good. How about yourself?
Hey man, chilling, it's just another week of action movies, baby.
Yeah.
Today we're going over American Ultra. You brought this to my attention. I had never seen it. So go ahead and take over, brother.
All right. Well, like you said, it came out in 2015. Uh, it it only made $27.3 million worldwide. It did not recoup how much it cost to make the movie, so it was considered a flop. This movie is a love it or hate it kind of movie.
Mm,
Basically, it's, about sleeper agents, which has been done quite a lot. You got the whole Bourne franchise, you've got The Long Kiss Goodnight, which I would honestly compare this more to The Long Kiss Goodnight. What I love so much about this is our main character, our sleeper agent, is a stoner,
yeah.
and that made the whole movie.
And
So his
he's not only a stoner, he looks like a stoner too. It's
oh, no, yes,
hilarious.
I bet in real life he is a stoner. That would be Jesse Eisenberg. We also have Kristen Stewart, Connie Britton, Topher Grace, Walter Goggins, who I love, and then we've got Bill Pullman, sorta. He has about 3 whole minutes in the whole movie, and he's probably the biggest star out of all of them. Um I read one review that said it was the best high action stoner comedy they've ever seen in their lives. There are a couple comic spots that you would think with Jesse Eisenberg, he would be in nothing but comedies, but Superman changed all that when he
Right.
played Lex Luthor. But this was long before that, when he was just doing comedy. So, he was out of his element in this, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, no, he played the hell out of this role. And I think one name that you left off of there is John Leguizamo.
Oh my god, how did I do that? He's so comic relief. That's probably why I said there's no comedy in it, because I forgot about it. Oh, shame on me. He's so good in this.
Yeah, he plays small bit parts, like 2 little bit parts, but they're hilarious, the 10
Mhm.
minutes he's on screen. Alright, brother, we talked it up. Are you ready to dive in?
Wait, there's one more thing I wanna bring up.
Alright.
This is all based on a true program that was in America's history. It was called the Project MK Ultra. It was done by the CIA between 1953 and 1973. They used LSD, hypnosis, and psychological torture, mostly on people that didn't even know this was occurring to them.
W
And, that's how the sleeper agents were created, was by our own CIA.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Dr. Shakes here diving in.
Told you years ago I was a doctor, but you failed to
He's not a doctor.
listen.
Please do not call him a doctor. He will start to believe it.
If you have any problems, please
Please do not
refer to
contact
your
this
own
man.
doctor. Don't contact me.
Alright, you ready to dive in, brother?
I'm ready.
Alright. Movie opens up to Mike shackled to a table in an interrogation room. A detective walks in. He lays down pictures on the table and asks Mike where he would like to begin. Mike starts to look over the pictures and starts to have flashbacks of the chaos that we are about to intake. It is flash after flash after flash very quickly. Um I once said to you, I think I said it not too long ago, but I do have a very much love-hate relationship with those kinda openings because sometimes they do them really well, and then sometimes they do them shit like Jade. So, let's not talk about
Yeah,
that.
but what I liked in this case was they gave you such quick flashes. I mean, it was almost like your subconscious was recording all of these flashes, much like you're in an MK Ultra program. And as the movie's going, you're like, "I remember that. I remember that." And
True.
it's like what our character's going through in this movie. And I was like, "Was that by design, or did they just get lucky, or am I overthinking it?"
That's a very interesting take. He looks up at the detective and his face is beat to shit.
Oh, he's beat to hell.
Yeah. And movie starts to Mike explaining that everything started about 3 days ago. He explains that Phoebe is his girlfriend and he's planning to propose to her on this big trip. But before they can leave for the big trip of Hawaii, he has a panic attack and it shows him throwing up in the bathroom. On the way back home, they get pulled over. Mike tries to lie to Phoebe and say that he's not holding drugs, but then eventually tells her the truth. Officer Watts comes to the window and is clearly familiar with Mike and Phoebe, but more so Mike.
What a
He,
dick.
yeah, he plays a bit of a dick because he makes fun of Mike for having panic attacks, but in the end, he lets them go. When they get home, Phoebe is still a little upset about not being able to go on the trip. So Mike puts on some Hawaiian music and he pulls out the ring and starts to stare at the ring. He forgets that he's cooking an omelet. Phoebe steps out of the room, sees the omelet burning, runs to put it out, and burns her hand. And pisses Phoebe off once again, fucking up
Yep.
the setup. And I felt bad for him at this
I did
point.
this guy is just like a really nice guy, but he comes back home and he puts on Hawaiian music. That had happened to me, I would have been furious. I have just missed my Hawaiian vacation. I am back home like an hour later and I'm listening to Hawaiian music. Oh my god, I
Fuck
would
you,
have been
dude.
so mad. One other thing I wanna bring up is they are in Lyman, West Virginia, which is not a real town, but what I found funny was the director of the movie is Doug Lyman. Are you serious?
Very nice.
He created an entire town.
Hell yeah.
Ugh. I mean, if you're the director, I guess
Do
you
what
got
you want, man. Look at Steven
yeah.
Seagal. Scene jumps to Mike arriving to his convenience store job. It's super duper slow. So he kills
Yeah.
time by pulling out his sketch pad and he begins to draw. And I will say, those are some cool ass comics he was
A
drawing.
Apollo Ape is his character.
A-
It's a beast in a spacesuit.
and he sends them on these wackadoo adventures.
Right, and I'm sure a lot of them are from his sleeper agent days. These are just stories that
Mm.
of his past that are slowly leaking out.
He steps outside to change the sign and decides to light a joint. We then see a satellite picking Mike up from space and it shows his full profile. It shows his name, shows Ultra Agent, shows Lyman, Virginia, shows a different picture with his haircut and a very stern face.
Very militant.
The satellite leads back to CIA headquarters, where we see Victoria Lassiter, played by Connie Britton, going over a file, and everything is redacted. If you look on it, it only says Harry Potter.
Right. It's it's just black line after black line.
uh, Someone comes to visit her, and it appears that she has been demoted. As they're talking, her phone rings, which brings a panic to both of their faces. She puts a code into her desk and pulls out a hidden phone. The person on the phone with a voice changer tells her that the target has been acquired and will be eliminated within 24 hours and that she is not to interfere. She tries to get more info, but the person tells her to have a good night and hangs up the phone.
Now, you talking about a voice changer, I'm pretty sure that was Barry White. "Y'all gotta get out there. Come on, baby."
Doo 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 doo.
Baby, we got
Scene cuts to Mike and Phoebe hanging out and they're smoking a joint, talking on the car. And they're watching this car crash being cleaned up. And Mike starts to go on this weird rant about how the tree is always stopped and the car was always going until it came across the tree. And then he begins to cry because he believes he's the tree and Phoebe is the car and he's holding up her life. Scene cuts back to the CIA headquarters, and Victoria is storming down this hall. She gets to a room where there's a meeting being held. The man conducting the meeting doesn't even look at her, but knows she's there and tries to get her to wait. But of course, she just swings the door open and demands Yates to come and speak to her. Yates is played by
Topher Grace
Topher Grace, and that is Eric
from
from
that
that 70s
70s.
show.
He
Yeah.
plays this dick of a bad guy so well.
Oh, man.
I was so impressed with his work in this.
Yeah, he's really
He's
good in this.
like, I really hated him.
She says that his tough guys are moving in on her wise man, but Yates says that's none of her concern. They talk about how they shut down the program because it was hurting people, and it comes out that Yates took Victoria's job. Yates says, "I'm the man qualified for the job." Victoria says, "Who says Daffy Duck?" And he says, "Well, I must be doing something right because I had the job for 2 years." The beauty of this movie is not just the action and the acting. The acting is really good in here too, but it is the comedy that they lightly sprinkle in here that does make you laugh.
There's dark comedy in this too.
Yates says that since Mike keeps trying to leave town, that they have to kill him. Victoria says that Mike is a human being, but Yates says that he's government property.
Just an
Victor-
asset.
Victoria tries to argue, but Yates flexes his rank and says that Mike dies today and there ain't shit that you can do about it.
Mhm.
Scene cuts to Mike getting a text, getting ready, and leaving, telling Phoebe that it's a work thing. He's actually going to meet Rose, who's played by John Leguizamo.
Was he in
And
this?
oh my God, when he pulled into the parking lot, I'm like, who is pulling in this watermelon van? Because it literally looks like a watermelon on wheels,
It
right?
has, like, it's like a custom band with lightning streaks on it.
Yeah, it's but green lightning streaks, they're
Yeah,
insane.
it's all green
And then
too.
he steps out and he's got this fluorescent shirt on and these big old square I said, "Is that John Leguizamo?"
He's just talking all gangster. I mean, he's like,
Yeah, and y
ridiculous.
it's hilarious.
It is.
He gets illegal fireworks for Mike's proposal. Mike goes to leave and Rose offers him acid and to go into the strip club, but Mike has to remind him that it's 8:15 in the morning.
And they do the exchange with the fireworks like it's a big drug deal. It's like
Oh.
they're hiding it and they're, like, running it to the trunk, slamming the trunk shut.
Just chill, B, just chill,
Yeah,
B.
just chill. Another thing I love, the sign on the titty bar says, "We just fired the ugly one. Come on in." I thought that was freaking hilarious. Sorry. I really dove deep into this one. I was looking for every little thing.
Scene cuts to Mike at work and Victoria sitting across the street watching. Victoria comes in, she puts a cup of noodles and a container of milk on the counter and then begins to speak code to Mike. But of course, Mike has no idea what she's talking about. She keeps saying the code over and over, and it seems to set in on Mike, but he tells her that he has to close up soon. Victoria says that she's sorry about everything, and she walks away.
Chariot progressive. Listen. Mandelbot set in motion. Echo choir has been breached. We are fielding the ball. You feel
Help?
anything?
No,
Oh, you're
no.
not a
I
sleeper
I
agent.
can guarantee you I've never been a sleeper agent.
Yeah, you can't guarantee that.
Ah, you're right.
Maybe I said it wrong. He's too stoned, or he's been on too many drugs for the trigger words to work.
Well,
Th
it does set in, but it sets in subconsciously. Scene jumps to Mike now making this cup of noodles, and he notices men messing with his car. He approaches with the cup of noodles in his hand and he says, "Hey, stop doing
Dude,
shit to my
my
car."
car.
Without a word, the two men then draw weapons and start coming towards Mike. One has a knife, one has a gun. But Mike then activates his secret agent. His eyes dilate a little bit. He throws the cup of noodles in one guy's face. He grabs the other guy's wrist before he can let off a shot, and then takes the spoon and stabs the man in the neck, and then takes the gun and then headshots them both, and then snaps out of it. Mike then calls Phoebe and he tries to tell her what happened, but she kind of downplays it until she's standing in front of the two bodies, and then she begins to freak out. As Mike is going over what happened again while he's wrapped around this pole, the cops pull up with them in front of the two dead bodies.
When he calls Phoebe and he tells her what happened, she goes, "Shit, baby got mugged?"
Scene cuts to a man informing Yates that the two men are dead. He realizes that Mike has been activated and that Victoria is in town. So he tells the man to shut the town down. The man then informs Yates that Mike is in jail. So he tells the man to send two assets, a crane and Laffer. A woman with an assault rifle appears and a man laughs wildly.
Yeah.
Scene jumps to Phoebe and Mike in the cell, and they're going over what happened one more time. And Mike thinks that he exploded the man's lungs because he stabbed him in the neck.
And she's like, "Your lungs are in your chest." And he's like, "I know that.
No, I don't know
I
that.
don't know that. I don't know that."
He then goes over the code with Phoebe that Victoria gave him, and of course, Phoebe is confused as well. He starts to freak out, but the officer comes in to get him and Phoebe for interrogation. Mike and Phoebe tried to plead for his innocence, but as much trouble as Mike has been in, the officer really isn't believing him. And then the power cuts. One officer is putting Mike and Phoebe back into their cell while the others are trying to figure out what's going on. Then a woman, Crane, walks in the front door and just unloads this massive assault rifle. This
Yeah.
thing is huge.
Yes.
And she is unloading and she kills most of them, but two survive. Laffer then walks in where Mike and Phoebe are being held and unloads his handgun, but Mike pulls the officer in front of him to take the bullets. He then tries to step into the cell to kill Mike, but Phoebe jumps on his back and drops the mag out of his gun, but he pushes her off and slaps her. Mike then goes for the officer's gun. Laffer sees him and pins him against the wall before he can aim it. Scene cuts back to Crane, and she's still unloading this massive assault rifle in the front of the station. The officers that live run into this back office and go for cover, arm themselves up, and Crane climbs over the desk and begins to approach. Scene jumps back to Laffer, pinning Mike to the wall and laughing in his face. This kind of triggers Mike's super soldier once again, and he begins to fight back but gets knocked down. Phoebe jumps on Laffer's back, but she gets thrown off and slapped again for her efforts. Scene jumps back to Crane, and she's walking towards the two remaining cops in cover. One pops out and tries to fight, but gets leveled by this assault rifle. The second one pops out and tries to fight, and then gets leveled by this assault rifle. She
There's
then,
really no learning curve here.
yeah, no. She then runs out of ammo in this assault rifle and pulls out her sidearm. Scene jumps back to Mike, still fighting Laffer. He goes to ram his head into the bars of the cell, but Mike stops him and pushes off. Phoebe sticks out her foot, and Laffer trips over him, landing Mike on top of Laffer. Mike wraps the remaining cuff that's on his wrist over his fist and hits Laffer in the face, knocking out his teeth, and then runs out the cell while Phoebe shuts the door and locks the cell.
Uses the cuffs like they're brass knuckles.
Mike then realizes that the gun is in the cell with Laffer and points out that the gun is in the cell with Laffer. So Laffer snatches up the gun.
He
Phoebe
didn't even know.
shoves, yeah, no.
He didn't even know it was there. And he's like, "Oh, thanks for pointing that out."
Laffer snatches up the gun. Phoebe shoves Mike out the door and they make a run for it. As the woman goes to finish off the last officer, the power then cuts back on as she catches eye of the security camera with Mike and Phoebe leaving. She turns around and throws some shots their way, and the officer isn't quite dead yet, handcuffs her ankle to this chair.
It's it'll slow her down. I mean, he tried.
And then she puts a bullet in his head.
Yeah.
She then stumbles after Mike and Phoebe with this chair attached to her and goes, "Hey!" And Mike stops running,
Yeah.
turns around, and says, "Yeah." She then throws a grenade at them.
And which he catches.
Mike then catches it, looks at Phoebe, and throws it back at the woman, blowing up the front end of the police station, blowing the woman and the chair forward, blowing Mike and Phoebe into a car. Mike then checks on Phoebe. The woman gets up. Mike stands up. They walk towards each other. The woman tries to swing at Mike. Mike breaks her arm, knocks her into the chair, and then breaks her neck. Phoebe snatches Mike, and off they run. Scene cuts to Victoria, and she sees that all the roads are blocked up. She calls Yates, and he tells her that Mike killed two of his assets. Victoria says that she's taking him down, but Yates is big talk, and Victoria just hangs up in his face. And Yates goes, don't tell me you just hung up in my face. Did you hang up in my face? Hello.
He's such a brat. He's such a child. It's great. He's such a good bad guy in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Scene cuts to Mike and Phoebe, and they're getting back to his car, and they're saying they're leaving town. Mike says they should go to Rose because he has weapons and could help him out. Phoebe then yells at him for pointing out the gun and stopping to catch the grenade. Mike goes to calm her down and tells her that everything's okay. You're okay, I'm okay, and everything will be okay. Nothing bad will happen. And while this is happening, there's a plastic bag just waving in the wind. And the bag barely, and I mean barely, lands on Mike's windshield and the thing explodes. Holy shit.
Whatever they were doing when they were fucking with his car, it worked.
Scene cuts to Victoria, and she is now at this blown up police station, and she sees the dead woman in the chair. And she also come across some of Mike's things. Victoria then calls the man that visited her office earlier and explains what was going on and that she needs a weapon and some information on Yates's assets. He says he can't help her, but she says that Yates is going to box her in this town and kill her.
Well, this guy that she's calling, his name is Petey, and,
Petey.
poor Petey, man. He's
Yeah,
just
rough
trying to
go.
do his job, who I think looks at Victoria Lassiter as like a mother figure,
Right,
so he'll do anything for her. She's always been like his mentor. He used to be her aide,
right.
and she keeps putting him in the worst fucking positions, and I feel
Man.
bad for the guy. Poor Petey.
His
Poor
his
Petey.
his position gets worse as the movie goes on. Scene cuts to Mike and Phoebe in her truck, and Mike starts to have some flashbacks, and he's starting to realize that he does not remember key parts of his life, like going to school or even his parents. But Phoebe changes the subject, and they exit the car and start to walk
I
to Rose's.
I really like that scene because the first things that come back to him are not his memories, it's his lack of memories. I thought
Yeah.
that was a cool way to portray it.
I actually thought when you seen that, it looked very pre-recorded.
Mhm.
I'm thinking that was more planted. So if he did try to think back to some kind of memories of his childhood or parents or school or something like that, they implanted some small parts of memories in there, but not full memories.
Right. No, I mean, it's part of the psychological torture, man. They take your life from you. They
Mm.
erase your memory. I mean, basically, you're getting programmed like a computer, from the beginning to become a soldier, and then after they make you a soldier, they program you again to forget everything. I mean,
Holy
th
shit.
th think about that. How fucked in the head you think that would make someone? I mean, maybe you could sustain that kinda life for a little while, but over time, memories come back, man.
As they're walking, Rose pops out with a shotgun and gas mask and a silver suit on. I thought that suit was hilarious. He tells them to get
Yeah.
inside because he thinks there's some kind of monkey virus. He said, I ain't dying from no monkey shit. Scene cuts to Yates arriving to town where he has a truck full of assets. He then sees Laffer and questions him about if he actually seen Mike's face. He said that Mike took his teeth, but don't worry, he got him back and shows him.
He has a handful of teeth.
And
Don't
no,
worry.
and the teeth are not knocked out, they are broken out.
He's got little bits of teeth still in his gum line, and then little bits of teeth in his palm.
Oh man. Scene cuts to Rose getting the cuff off of Mike, and he's pissed that Mike brought his problems here. As they talk, two of Rose's men walk in and says that the perimeter is clear. Mike then recognizes one of the men from his fantasy football league. Rose then gets offended because he wasn't invited to join. The two men, I don't know the taller one, but the
Uh,
heavier set one is Lavelle Crawford. He is a stand-up comedian, and he goes they're talking about the fantasy football, and Rose goes, "Man, I wasn't invited, I guess Rose just plays by himself." And
Ro
Lavelle Crawford goes, "Well, I didn't know anything about no damn football league." And he goes, "That doesn't make me feel any better, and nobody tells you shit." And he goes, "So hurtful." And he sits down and pouts.
his feelings were so hurt. What I loved was when Mike first gets to Rose's place,
Yeah.
Rose looks at him, and he's like, "What you doing in here, man? Crazy is as crazy does, and you dragged your crazy here. I don't even know what that is or what that does, you see what I'm saying?" And I'm like, on no level did that make any sense
But
whatsoever,
I got what he said. I
but I
understood what
totally
he
understood his entire message. I fucking love that line.
Rose then shows them that the town is locked down on TV, and a picture of Victoria and Mike come up as suspects, and Rose begins to demand answers. Mike tries to explain, but Rose gets nervous and pulls his gun. Mike then does his super sleeper agent thing and disarms Rose. Rose then thinks they have some kind of monkey virus because that's what they're spreading on the TV to keep the actual story quiet. So he puts Mike and Phoebe in this room for quarantine. He then Mike then
Uh,
informs him that he thinks he can break the lock.
please don't. From the other
the
side of
the
the door.
shakiness in his voice, he was just like, "Please, please don't."
But before that, they asked Rose, "Are you gonna call the police on us?" And he was like, "I'm not gonna call the government, but they're gonna get me neuralized." Ner
This room is actually a glow in the dark light
Black light.
black light weight room. And the paintings on the wall are these naked women and an ass with a rainbow coming out of it.
I love Rose.
Phoebe takes a second and then asks Mike how he feels, and Mike says, actually, kind of amazing. Scene cuts to Victoria getting a gun and the files on Yates's assets airdropped to her. She starts to read the files and she sees that Yates is actually using dangerous people.
They're psychopaths
They,
that they have trained like the American Ultra program.
it actually says later on because they don't point it out, but they do say later on that he's getting his test subjects from mental
Yeah.
institutions. Yeah, it's
Yep.
pretty fucked up. Scene jumps to Petey, and he's getting a phone call from Yates. And Yates says he's committing treason and that he needs to stop helping Victoria and start helping him. The man then receives a call from Victoria and tells Petey to go public with everything that he knows. But Petey goes by the book on her and says that he can't help her anymore and hangs up.
And it
Scene cuts back to Mike and Phoebe in this very obnoxious gym, and Phoebe is trying to find a way out. She finds this panel in the ceiling. She climbs through. Scene then jumps to Yates, telling his men that they should attack Rose's house in waves, plant fake news, and he okays the use of neuralizing gas. Scene jumps to a woman pumping this neuralizing gas through the AC unit of Rose's house. Scene jumps back to Mike and Phoebe, and she is crawling around in the ceiling.
this, what they in this, it was ryoфлаксин gas.
Mm.
It's a gas they created for this movie. It's supposed to keep you awake while you choke to death.
Oh, shit. That fucking sucks.
It's not a real thing, but I thought the purpose of it was interesting.
Phoebe's crawling around in this ceiling to find a way out, and Mike pulls out the ring again. This gym starts to fill up with the gas. Scene jumps to Rose arguing with his men about this football league once again, but someone approaches with a shotgun drawn and kills all three men. Mike hears the gun blast and tries to go after Phoebe in the panel, but the man with the shotgun bursts in. Mike then jumps down and fights the man, but the man throws him into the wall mirror. As he's getting thrown into this wall mirror, Phoebe falls through the ceiling.
Like, all this action's happening, and then his body just drops from the ceiling.
Mike then knocks the man over, gets on top, takes a weight, and kills him. Phoebe throws on a gas mask, grabs the shotgun, grabs Mike, and tries to escape. As they escape, one of Yates's assets is right outside the door, and Phoebe does this badass one-handed shotgun blast and blows the woman out of her socks, man. That shit was so sweet. She
It
didn't
was
even
really good.
she didn't even really look at her. She looked over, seen something, and just shot. Mike is getting affected by this gas, but Phoebe jumps into action and grabs the antidote off of one of the assets. Mike then begins to fade and start to have flashbacks of him and Phoebe, but they're odd memories because there's Phoebe sitting in a suit behind the desk as if she's giving Mike an interview, and she looks very professional here. The whole time we see Phoebe, she looks like a girlfriend, hair down, very comfortable looking. In this scene, her hair is slicked back
Yeah,
and
she
she's
has
wearing a suit and she's sitting very professional behind this desk. Mike then comes to and starts to push Phoebe away and says, "What the hell is going on?" Phoebe then explains that she was his handler and that she is CIA. Mike is heartbroken and tries to get away from her. They get back to her truck, and Mike wants to get more information, but he really doesn't believe anything she says. As they're arguing in the truck, another truck rams into the back of them, rolling them off this very low bridge, just turning the truck over. It's Laffer, and he exits his truck and he goes to check to see if Mike is dead. He pulls Phoebe out of the truck, he puts a gun to her face and starts letting off rounds, but he's not hitting her, he's just taunting her. He then headbutts her and says he needs to bring her in alive. As Mike is trapped in this truck, Laffer says he's going to go do something bad. He then drags Phoebe away and starts to pour gas over Mike's truck. Both of them shout that they hate each other, and then Laffer drops a lighter on Mike's truck, setting the
Man, I
truck.
hate you.
Yeah.
Man, I hate you too.
I thought that was so funny. They're just like going at it the whole movie, and you don't normally hear that from like the two combatants. You don't
No.
normally hear like, "God damn it, dude, I fucking hate you." Like
You don't hear about their feelings. No, they just fight. And he's like, "Man, I hate you." And then Laffer's like, "Man, I hate you too."
as Laffer is trying to wake up Phoebe to show her that he is burning up Mike, Victoria no clips out of nowhere and saves Mike from this truck before it explodes. The scene then jumps to Laffer bringing Phoebe to Yates. Scene cuts to Victoria with Mike, and Mike wants answers. This is where we finally get the full scope of what's going on.
Right.
She then explains that when he was 18, he got arrested, and to avoid jail, he volunteered for this Wise Man program. He was an experiment, and he happened to be the only successful one out of the group. They had many more, but he was the only one that continued to do well.
Yep, it only
But
worked for him.
but it was driving him crazy. So she decided to shut the program down. She gave everybody new lives, and Phoebe was just supposed to drop him off, but she ended up staying with him.
And
As
they
Mhm.
programmed him so he could not leave the area.
Yeah,
They could always count on where he was, so they could keep an eye on him, but they let him go and live his life.
and that's why he has panic attacks anytime he tries to leave town.
Yeah.
Yeah. As they're talking, a man busts through the back door and recognizes Victoria from the news. He says, "Hey, I seen you on the TV." And she goes, "Hi, how are you?" And he goes, "You fuck monkeys." She clearly has been on the run the whole time, so she did
Yeah.
not catch the news. So she
Right,
does
'cause
not
she's like,
know that she's being portrayed as this.
"What the fuck are you talking?"
She says, excuse funniest shit ever. That part actually caught me off guard because you just bust out. They're having this very serious conversation. I'm like, man, she fucked up his life. And then this dude just bust out, "Hey, I seen you on the TV." And she's like, "Hey, yeah, how are you?" He's like, "You butt monkeys." Scene cuts to Yates deleting Mike's CIA profile, being told that they know where Victoria is, and he calls Petey up to put a bombing drone in the air and hangs up on him. Phoebe then asked if he's going to blow up a whole town, and Yates says, "Yeah, pretty much." So Phoebe breaks away from one guy, elbows another guy in the face, and takes a shot at Yates, but misses before she's grabbed once again, and Laffer takes the gun. The funny shit is, the reason she missed is because Yates is cowering behind
Yeah.
one of his men.
He is hiding behind a soldier, eyes wide, trembling, using this man as a shield. He is such
Hilarious.
a little bitch. I love him
Scene
as a bad guy, though.
That's so good. Scene jumps to the drone taking off. Scene jumps back to Phoebe, telling them that Mike is a little slow, but he would never go back to their house. Scene cuts to Mike and Victoria going back to their house.
He's like, "There's no way Mike would go back to the house. That's the dumbest idea I ever heard." And then they switched to Mike and And Victoria,
And they're
he's like,
walking
"I
across the
gotta,"
yard.
and he's like, "I gotta get back to the house."
He says he doesn't care anymore. He says he's gonna go smoke a joint and lay down. S- Scene jumps back to Yates sending over some of his assets. Scene jumps back to Mike and Victoria in the house, and Mike again is playing this Hawaiian music and smoking a joint while Victoria is clearing the house with this mega shotgun.
Yeah.
Victoria takes the time out to tell Mike that Phoebe really does care about him, that she was supposed to just drop him off, but she gave up her entire life, her entire career, just to be with him. But she hears a noise and goes to check it out, but Mike hears her grunt. Mike calls out to her, but no answer. He goes to check on her, and she's being attacked. He tries to help, and the scene jumps to a man outside watching the perimeter as this man flies through the window because Mike has now thrown him through the window.
Yeah.
The man swings around with his assault rifle and then starts to unload. Mike ducks and goes to check on Victoria. The man then radios that Mike is there, so Yates gives the go ahead to drop the bombs from the drone.
Now,
Fe-
who is the guy that can hit the button to drop the bomb?
Good old Petey. But we will get to that for sure because the scene jumps back to Mike getting Victoria up, but she's still a little dazed. He sees the man making a move towards the house. He grabs a gun. The man bursts in the front door and starts unloading this assault rifle, and Mike takes cover in the kitchen. Victoria tries to help with her shotgun, but the man that Mike threw through the window now jumps through another window. She sees him and rolls underneath the bed for cover. As the man walks past, she then shoves the shotgun up the ass of a stuffed bear and shoots the man and kills him.
It's a giant ass teddy bear.
But why
And
she shoved the gun up the bear's ass?
where would you rather put it? His mouth?
Why do you need the bear? What'd the bear
Oh, I don't
do?
know, but Mike's in the other room and he hears the boom, and then it's like all these feathers come through the door.
The drone strike is approaching, and Yates wants Petey to drop the bombs, but Petey is struggling with giving the okay. As that is going on, Mike is pinned by this man in the kitchen, just unloading this assault rifle. Mike then sees a frying pan land next to him. He activates his super soldier once again, tosses the pan up in the air, fires one bullet at a fucking angle, and shoots the man square in the chest,
He
killing
ricochets
him.
it off of the cast iron skillet. He ricochets a bullet off of a cast iron skillet that he himself threw in the air.
The drone then flies over, and Petey could not drop the bombs. Hell yeah, Petey, hooray! Because
Petey saves the day.
Petey does
And the
save the
whole
day.
time and the whole time, Yates is like, "What's wrong, you idiot? Just hit the button. Hit the button, you dumbass. Hit the button." And the whole time, Petey's, like, halfway crying. He's like, "I don't wanna hit the button. I don't wanna hit the button."
And then he has this awesome little office private celebration.
Yes, yes, he did the right thing. As he
Go,
did the
Petey.
whole movie.
Hell yeah, Petey.
The hero of the movie.
Scene jumps to a Mr. Kruger now receiving a phone call on the same type of phone Victoria answered in the beginning of the movie. And he's also getting the Barry White voice.
Barry White
And
calls back.
and we see him boarding a plane and setting a watch. Scene jumps to all of Yates's men packing up and leaving. Scene cuts to Mike cleaning up this shot up house. He's literally in the back sweeping up glass, and the whole house is shot to shit. And Victoria is looking at the man that Mike killed, kind of sad because she knew him. She's upset that he got mixed in to the nonsense and had to die for it.
Right.
The phone rings. Victoria says, "Don't answer that." But of course, Mike does. Mike and Yates are finally on the phone with each other. And Yates tries to convince Mike that he's giving up and to come meet him at the parking lot, and he will give him Phoebe. Mike is so dumb that it is pissing Yates off.
He's so frustrated trying to give him simple commands, and he's not getting it.
Yates then gets so pissed that he threatens to kill Phoebe, but instead puts her on the phone. She then apologizes for everything and tries to convince him to leave, but Yates hangs up the phone. Mike then puts on the Hawaiian shirt that Phoebe bought for him, grabs
Instead
a
of
light.
armor.
Yeah, instead of like a bullet.
He puts
That's the scene where you would like see them put on a bulletproof vest.
yeah,
He puts on the Hawaiian shirt.
he puts on a Hawaiian shirt.
He grabs a lighter and the box of illegal fireworks that he got from Rose earlier, and he heads out to save Phoebe.
He says, "I'm gonna go save my girlfriend from Max Goods," which is the convenience store he works at. I'm gonna he's so serious. Oh my god, that got me so I'm gonna go save my girlfriend from Max Goods.
Scene jumps to Yates, and he's unloading his truck of assets to defend him from Mike. As he's giving his assets a pep talk, Mike comes rallying in with this truck shooting fireworks directly at Yates and his assets.
That was a pretty cool scene.
It was pretty
I
awesome.
I gotta say, and then that was, like, the first time Phoebe knew he was still alive, like, for real.
Right.
Like, she had seen him since they fell off the bridge, the car was on fire.
Yates, Laffer, and the rest of the assets run and take Phoebe into the Max goods, and Mike just drives the truck right through the front door. Mike then takes this time to go over the store intercom system to tell Phoebe that he loves her.
He does, and he says it'll all be over soon.
As Mike is ranting, Yates sends some assets at him. One opens up fire and he takes a soda machine as cover. He sees another one coming down the aisle, so he grabs something sharp off the shelf, stabs the man, kills him, and then runs his head along these displayed light bulbs.
It was so hard to watch.
The other asset begins to fire at him, but Mike takes cover and starts to move down the aisle. He then picks up this dustpan and stabs the asset in the neck, killing him.
It's a metal dustpan. You gotta know that. Don't think that it's your average plastic
Yeah, no,
dustpan.
it's a silver metal one, yeah. If you
Uh,
remember the comic he was drawing earlier in the store showed
uh,
the monkey cutting off a person's head with a dustpan.
okay.
Yeah, it's
No,
a
I
small
did
little
not.
pickup.
I did not, but I mean, he is Apollo 8.
Yeah,
He's that's great. There's all kinds of like, I bet you could watch this 20 times and still find something you didn't catch before. I
right.
think this movie is smarter than everybody thinks it is.
Another asset then begins to fire, and Mike once again takes cover. He then picks up a can and throws it at the man, hitting him in the head, giving him the upper hand. Mike then catches up with Phoebe and the rest of the men. Two of the men turn and begin to fire, and Mike takes cover. As the assets are moving towards Mike, he sees this salami, picks it up, walks down the back of the aisle, jumps over the aisle, knocks out one man with the salami. The other man then stabs Mike in the gut, but Mike then rams his head into the glass and kills him.
You know, I really love this scene because anytime there's a fight in a grocery store, you're going aisle by aisle and fighting each other. Well, Mike said, "Fuck that," and he just jumped over the aisle. No one is expecting that. I know I wasn't.
And if you notice, this is the first time Mike takes any real damage.
Yeah, he pretty much didn't have a mark on him. I mean, he started looking like shit after the, gas got him,
Yeah,
uh, and then after the the car flipped off,
the
he
truck flip,
he had
yeah.
he had a little damage, but this is all different.
Yeah, this is the first time he's like life-threatening damage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Phoebe tells Yates to let her go because that's all that Mike wants. But, of course, Yates ain't listening. Mike sees the kitchenware aisle and he starts to arm himself with knives. We
Yeah.
see an asset coming after Mike and he drops to his knees. And then the camera swings around and we see Mike pick up a butcher knife and chop him in the forehead.
Yeah. I don't know if you could
Holy
do that.
shit.
I don't know if that's possible, but they did it.
Yates is just throwing these assets at Mike, and Phoebe is trying to get herself out of these handcuffs. As Mike is looking for Phoebe, he runs into three more of the assets, and one of these bullets that the assets fires grazes his eyebrow. Mike then pulls out the last firework from his pocket and fires it at them. Yates and Laffer and Phoebe see this explosion. Mike then takes a hammer and beats the three assets to death. You can see the normal and then you can see the agent. And the agent was definitely more of the killing fighting, but it was like to watch him kind of flip on and off was actually pretty interesting. As he steps through this smoke, Mike finally sees Yates and Laffer and Phoebe. Yates then sends Laffer after Mike to end this and takes Phoebe and tries to get away. Mike and Laffer take a step towards each other. Phoebe tries to break away, but Yates rams her head into the wall. Laffer is looking for Mike through the smoke in the store. Phoebe then works her way out of these handcuffs with a paper clip and begins to fight back against Yates. Mike rushes Laffer and disarms him before he can get a shot off. Laffer punches Mike, knocking him back. Laffer then picks up a screwdriver. Mike picks up a hammer and they are face to face. They begin to fight, and Laffer drives the screwdriver through Mike's hand, and Mike takes the nail removing part of the hammer and drives it in Laffer's leg. And this part here was insane to me because
Right.
neither one of them could do anything because they were in so much pain. They are literally pinned together
Yeah.
screaming.
Yeah. The claw in the leg
Yeah.
and then just the screwdriver straight through the hand. I was just like, "Ooh, ah."
Yeah. They finally do separate. Mike sees the gun and goes for it, but Laffer sees him and knocks him down, grabs the gun and fires a couple rounds. And Mike, of course, takes cover. Phoebe is kicking the shit out of Yates, but he lands a good shot and says, fuck this, and starts to walk away and starts talking shit to Phoebe, but does not realize that Victoria once again no clips in and wraps a cord around his neck and starts to choke Yates here, and Phoebe does a nice little flip off.
Couldn't have happened to a worse guy.
Right.
I mean, he had it all of it coming, and especially from Victoria.
Laffer is looking for Mike once again, but he doesn't check quick enough as Mike sees him and grabs him and tosses him on the ground. He does this judo throw and throws him on the ground forehead first. Holy shit.
Right.
I thought he was dead for real because that judo flip was nasty, and when you don't expect a judo flip like that, it will just flail your body, and he went forehead first into the ground, making Laffer drop his gun. Mike then picks up the gun and points it at Laffer. Laffer then begins to laugh. He then says he's sorry, but he can't control it. And he asks Mike who tells him what to do. Mike says no one. And Laffer actually likes the sound of that. Mike lowers his gun, and two men sit there and stare at each other. Victoria is still choking the shit out of Yates when Kruger appears and tells her enough, and Victoria stands down. Mike is still sitting in this aisle, but Laffer is gone. So I'm assuming that he was like Try and get out of here and make another life for yourself." Phoebe then finds Mike. She helps him up, and as they exit, they run right into just a slew of officers with their guns already drawn.
Like the it's like Christmas time, and when you go into a parking lot and there's nowhere to park, there's that many cops there,
Yeah.
and they're all have weapons pointed at them.
And then the funny thing is Mike then takes this time to
Well, it's the perfect
propose
moment.
to
It's the
propose
perfect moment.
to Phoebe.
Yes.
And she, of course, she says yes. Of
Well, she
course.
loves the guy.
And
I
he
thought it
he
was
gets up,
romantic as hell.
he raises her hand. She said yes. She said yes. They go to look at each other, and Mike gets tased in the back. Phoebe goes, "Come on, guys, what the hell?" And then she gets tased, stiff as a board, straight back on the ground. So good.
Proposed.
Right. Yeah, he got
It's
it
taking
done.
the whole movie, he did it.
Scene cuts to Victoria and Yates kneel down in front of Kruger. Victoria is pleading for Pete's life, but Kruger isn't really listening. Says that she interfered with an operation. Yates is trying to throw her under the bus. He's trying to convince Kruger that he was right all along and that the wise man is fucking dangerous. Kruger then pulls out his gun and kills Yates right in front of Victoria. Kruger tells her that he's the one that called her earlier, and it was just a courtesy call, and he didn't expect her to get involved. Victoria still pleads for Mike's life and says that he is the biggest success out of the Ultra program. Scene then cuts to the beginning of the movie with Mike in the interrogation room, but this time we see Kruger watching him.
Through a
Scene
one-way mirror.
Scene cuts to 6 months later, and Mike and Phoebe are very swanky and walking into this very, very nice hotel, but they're actually on a mission together because there's a little spy camera watching them, and Victoria watches as Mike gets onto an elevator and is kidnapped. And the movie ends with Mike kicking ass. And you know what? Your theory of the Apollo 8 thing might be
Uh-huh.
right because he does the uppercut and it transitioned into the Apollo 8.
I did notice that at the end. I was
So
like,
you
"Hey, I was
you
right."
might
It
have a
was
little weight on that. Yeah,
yeah,
you might have a
yeah, he
little weight
uses
on
his
that.
adventures for his cartoon or his anime. I love
Awesome movie. It I hate that it didn't do so well, but I can imagine, like I said, mm, at that time, I'm guessing, like, that people were kinda over the stoner movie era, you know? I mean, you had
Well, it's a
what?
stoner movie, it was a sleeper agent movie, I mean, all of that, um, there were a lot on both sides, but I think the fact that they put it together was what saved it, and, y what I did notice was, it's a love-hate relationship with bands. You either bought in 100% or you could not stand it and would never watch it again.
That makes sense. I thought it was a fantastic movie. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it had awesome action, and they didn't overflood the cast with stars, but they put enough familiar faces in there, and the acting was actually on point.
Yeah, it was not bad at all. Um,
Yeah,
I
no,
loved everything
fantastic.
about it. The fact that you have this secret agent who's just a stoner and he can't remember. I mean, it even got to the point where, he's getting little bits of it back as the movie goes on. Even
Right.
in the final scene, he's sitting with a bunch of bad guys and they're speaking Mandarin, and he starts speaking back to them, and then he starts laughing, and they're like, "Why are you laughing?" He was like, "I didn't even know I could speak Mandarin." So, he's already
Yeah,
established as an agent again, but he still doesn't know everything he's supposed to know.
when it's kinda coming back to him and they're going to Roses, and he goes, "Do you know what a B-37-7 is?" And she goes, "What?" And he goes, "It's a type
The
of
tank.
tank." And he
Yeah.
goes, "I don't when did I" he's like, "When did I learn about tanks?" "Never. I never learned about tanks, but I know about, like, 60 different tanks." He was like, "I know all these things about guns and bombs and tanks, but I never learned about guns and bombs and tanks."
And he's like, "Am I a robot?" And he kept saying that throughout the movie, "Am I a robot?" And I was like, "Well, you have been programmed twice." I was like,
Right.
You don't have the metal gears and all that wiring and shit, but you're kind of a robot, bro."
And on that note, this is Action Movies for Dummies. That was American Ultra 2015. I am MJ. That is Shakes.
See y'all next week.
Until next week, guys.
Bye, y'all.